I'd like to welcome Ontario Premier Doug Ford to our show. Premier Ford has led the province for more than 6 years, championing himself as a builder. He's building a stronger economy and is attracting new investment to the province, including the areas of electric vehicles and batteries. Prior to being in provincial politics, Premier Ford was a Toronto city councillor. He's also a successful businessman and owner of Deco Labels. Premier Ford, welcome back to the show.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Alan.
Thank you so much. I know, we haven't spoken in a little while, but I feel like I've seen you in many places recently, and I must say you're doing a great job representing the people of Ontario and Canada. So keep up the good work. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. It's a good team Canada effort, and everyone's pitching in, yourself included. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I thought we'd start off with kind of a general question. Canadian investors and many businesses have told me recently that they're extremely concerned, obviously, with the threat of American tariffs on Canada. And obviously, you've been front and center, as we've said, doing media appearances here in Toronto, as well as down in the US. I saw you on Fox, CNN, etc. I guess my first question is, what's your take on what's happening now? Do you anticipate that the day after the inauguration, that tariffs will be announced on Canada?
Well, I can't really get into President-elect's mind. I'm pretty sure that it's going to happen either on the 20th, 21st, or shortly thereafter. He said he was going to do it. I've been saying for a couple months now he's going to do it, and he'll put tariffs on Canada. Hopefully not at a rate of 25%, but that's what he's touting all the time. So we're prepared. We have to be ready. I understand that businesses have concerns, but we're going to be there to support our businesses in Ontario. And I know the other premiers, they feel the same way, that we have to stand united. We have to make sure that we don't show our cards.
Right. No, it makes sense for sure. And, we heard, or I've heard you say recently that it may take spending billions of dollars to keep Ontarians from losing their jobs. Again, I get a lot of our questions today from concerned individuals, but one of them was asking me, how quickly do you think that the tariffs will affect our economy? And is there anything Ontarians and Canadians can do to limit the effects of these tariffs?
Well, Alan, I believe the tariffs come on, they affect the economy immediately. Matter of fact, they're hurting our economy right now to a certain degree, that people are concerned about investment. Are they going to face tariffs? But we've created the environment for companies to come here and thrive and prosper and grow. We're going to continue doing that. And we're going to be there. And let's see what sectors he's going to target. I know one thing, he's going to target Ontario. We have a bullseye on our back, because we're a manufacturing powerhouse in North America. We're a third largest trading partner in the world to the US. Ontario alone is. So he's going to look at different sectors, but it's not going to just hurt Canadians. It's going to hurt Americans. I've talked to endless elected officials down in the US as early as like an hour ago. I was talking to the great governor from Kentucky. Yeah, he's concerned. Everyone is concerned right now, because it's going to affect both sides of the border.
Yeah, and being a businessman as you are, how negotiations work, right? They usually go well for the business or the person that is negotiating from a position of strength.
That's
And I
right.
think that's what worries many, is that when you look at the United States, largest economy in the world, many believe that the US has the strength in this case. So people have been asking me, how do I think? And I guess I'll ask you, how can we negotiate with the US when they are the most powerful nation in the world today?
Well, similar to what we negotiated last time, I'm a strong believer. You negotiate through strength, not weakness. You don't show them your cards. I'll give you a couple areas that we have strength over the U.S. One is the aluminum from Quebec. They cannot produce the volume that they're used to producing without the aluminum from Quebec. We have the highest grade nickel in the world. That 47% gets shipped down to the US, not only for their military, but for their manufacturing. They'd be devastated if we cut them off on the nickel there. We have potash, that 87% of potash gets shipped down to the ag sector, the agricultural sector, in the US, they'd be devastated without potash. We have uranium from Saskatchewan that we refine here in Port Hope, Ontario for their nuclear capabilities. It'd be devastating. Not to mention our energy, the electricity that we ship down to Michigan and New York and Minnesota, 1.5 million homes. We keep their lights on, and obviously the crude oil. We give them crude oil at a discounted cost compared to other areas to keep their gas prices low. And these are some heavy tools that we have that the U.S. economy would be staggered if we ever put tariffs or we put an export tax on.
Yeah, it sounds like, the politicians that you're speaking with down south, they understand this. But I guess you wonder, President-elect, if he understands the magnitude of what could happen if he goes through with these tariffs.
That's why I've been communicating. I truly believe that he's not informed from his people. I don't think he realizes the devastating effect it would have on not only on Americans but Canadians as well. 9 million Americans wake up to produce products and widgets for Ontario alone, and that would be devastating for 9 million Americans if that happens. So there's quite a large sector. When I was speaking to the governor of Kentucky, he felt the pain on the bourbon sector in his state when we put tariffs on bourbon. So there's a wide range of tools that I don't want to use, but we will use to stand up and protect Ontario and Canadian jobs.
Yeah, and you make a great point, and I often wonder, what's the end game here, right? Like, what is he trying to accomplish? I don't think we have a problem with our border. I know I saw your reel recently about how we're beefing up the border, and I think that compared to Mexico is not much of a problem at all. And you know, I don't think that the president-elect wants Canada to be the 51st state. I know he's mentioned that, and I thought he was joking the first time he said it. So I struggle to find out what's the end game here. What is he trying to accomplish? Is it the deficit between the two countries? What is it that he's trying to get across? What is his point in all this? And I struggle with that.
Well, I struggle as well, Alan. I'm asking myself the same question. Let's come to the table and sit down. Tell us what you need, what you want, and then we can negotiate from there. So it's concerning on both sides actually, and it's not just going to be us. It's going to be the whole world. He's going to be targeting. I think he thinks he can pay down the deficit or his debt, I should say, and that's just not going to work. He says he has an imbalance on trade with Canada. Well, you take our crude oil out of the factor and it's split right down the center. It's to the opposite. We're subsidizing them on our crude oil at a 20% discount until they can get cheap gas. So it's a trade, open trade, and a good trading partner with a good trade deal benefits both sides of the border. I've talked a lot about AMCAN, Fortress, protecting American and Canadian jobs. We're unstoppable. I want to give them more energy. I want to give them more, nickel and other commodities that we have.
So now let's turn to our country. Obviously, a lot of things going on here. We had our prime minister resign recently. We're going to have a new federal government forming, I guess, possibly within coming months. When we look ahead, what would you say, or what advice would you give in the new prime minister, whoever they are, with respect to trying to be competitive with the United States? We know that president-elect is going to come in and he's going to try and cut taxes. He's going to try and cut a lot of the red tape. Do you think we need to match that up here? Would you advise the new prime minister to do the same? Look at our tax system, look at cutting red tape, and trying to, I guess, stay as competitive with our neighbors to the south as possible?
Absolutely. When I opened up in Chicago, it was still held under a Canadian company because our corporate tax was lower, believe it or not, than the US at the time. Now things have changed. We need to make sure we're competitive to attract companies from around the world to invest into Canada or Ontario specifically. And that's what we're doing. We've seen massive investments around the world. There was 136 companies worldwide last year that invested $11 billion and created 12,200 jobs. We've seen a total of close to $70 billion invested since we've been in office here and created 850,000 new jobs. I always say, Alan, government doesn't create jobs. We're in trouble if we create jobs, but we create the environment and conditions for companies to come here. And we've reduced the cost of doing business by $8 billion each and every single year. We have the talent pool here. We have everything here. And I just encourage any company to come in and invest in Ontario.
So I guess that leads me to my next question. It sounds like Ontario is still, chugging along. We're not slowing down. Do you have a fear that with all this uncertainty, whether it's U.S. tariffs, federal government prorogue, no parliament, how hard is it now to attract new investors, new business to come to our country, to Ontario, with all this uncertainty?
Well, you nailed it, the uncertainty. We need stability in Ottawa. And by the way, from all three parties. Yes, we know the instability of the Liberals, but the other parties need to step it up. They need to come out of hiding and get out there and start voicing their plan and their concerns. So that's what we need to do is make sure that we're united. We have to send a clear message to the rest of the world. We are open for business. I talked to our friend and your friend, Vic Fideli, the other day. He's in San Francisco at a tech show right now, creating more opportunities for companies to come here. And, we have approximately $40 billion on the table from companies this year. We saw the job numbers come out, and just recently, 27,000 new jobs in Ontario, and I think it was 15 or 17,000 of them were manufacturing jobs. So we can compete. We have the talent, we have the people, and we're creating the environment of low taxation. Because I know what people and companies do. You put money into people's pocket, they're going to go out and spend it and stir the economy up. As simple, this is as simple as going out for dinner, buying your kids sneakers, doing something you might otherwise not be able to do if you have more money in your pocket. And I know as a business owner, you make a profit, we invested it into our people, into technology, into our infrastructure, buying new equipment. That stirs the economy as well. And that's what we need to continue doing.
I guess my last question to you, obviously we've seen unemployment numbers recently in Canada dropped a little bit from 6.8 to 6.7%. I know in province of Ontario, we're about 7.5%. And I guess in terms of attracting business, is there any one area in particular that your government is going after more so than others? Is there one area that you think we can continue to excel in or perhaps move into that we haven't done so in the past?
Well, first of all, I want to address this that really gnaws at me. There's healthy people. We have over 200,000 jobs available in Ontario. We need the healthy people to get their butts off the couch and get in there and start applying for the jobs. We need more productivity, not just here in Ontario. We need more productivity right across Canada. Sectors that we're looking at, obviously, the tech sector is growing at a rapid pace. And along with the EV sector, life science sector, manufacturing as a whole, and as simple as going, maybe you don't have that skill set. Go into an Amazon warehouse. They're hiring nonstop. They're hiring every single day. Get out there and work. Contribute to society. That's all we're asking.
And as you've said, our province has excelled under your leadership, so we're thankful for that. We thank you and your government, and yeah, hopefully we can get some certainty into the minds of small businesses and investors, and we'll get through this. We'll just have to, it may take a little bit, but definitely we'll get through it.
Well, thanks, Alan. I love the positive attitude. I share your sentiments, and we will get through it. We'll all work hard, and we'll come out on top. I always look at any crisis as there's opportunity somewhere within those crises to make us better and work harder and be more creative. But I want to thank you. Keep going. You're doing a great job, and look forward to getting on again with you.
It's great. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Premier, for taking some time out of your busy day. I know it's been a busy time for you. Thank you so much. All the best, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Alan. You take care.